repelling without knowing it. Oh, that is like a heartbreaker, right? Sometimes when we lead with our strongest strengths, we have the opposite effect of what we're trying to do. So we're trying to show our passion and be big and big bold because we're so excited about something. But yet that very thing can feel so strong that everybody's like, yeah, that's too much for me. And so what I've been doing is helping people lead with what I call the red frequency. It is the energy that you lead with that people notice first about you. And then they take a step into your world. And then they get to know you. And then they want that potent stuff. When they join your programs, they're ready for it. But easing them into it, creating that, I feel like it's a safe space to step into. Like, have you ever, maybe you remember this, you go through the mall and there are certain stores that, would have perfume zooming out of it, right? I would walk on the other side. I would never go near those stores. It was too potent. It's not something I was interested in. Sometimes there's ones that have such loud techno music and lots of flashing lights that also not appealing to me. It's going to repel me, right? Even if there's something in there that I actually would like or that I want to get. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's for somebody else. I mean, isn't that kind of like what our business is sometimes, right? Sometimes it's, well, personally, I don't necessarily feel like I need this, but I think for my business, I do. And I remember my dad in the 90s. It was around like 1995, I think it was. And for my mom and dad's business, he said, I have no interest in this, but I think we need a website. I don't know anything about it, but we need a website. And so if something was so off-putting, he would never even get to the place to have the website created, right? He needed those small steps to get there. And then he's like, there's value in this. It's not for me personally, even though my business is personal. I know that I need the people that I service will benefit from this. And so that's how I kind of think about this red frequency is this energy that you put out that's just welcoming. And so that's what I want to talk to you about. And I'm going to give you an example. So I've been doing these reports in human design as a tool to identify these energy centers. And it's based off of some of the work that I've done for myself. Last year in 2024, I stripped myself down from no coaching, got rid of all the learning, everything before I came to LinkedIn and started my own business. And I found me. Because I didn't like fitting into those strategies, those marketing plans, the funnels, like, oh my gosh, all this stuff. I was like, it's either going to be my way or it's the highway. I'm getting out of here. I can't do this anymore. It's not me. It's not what I wanted to build. And maybe you felt like that too, right? Like, I think a lot of us get sucked into some of that and we might even have success, but yeah, it's not what we really want. And I had some success in some areas and not success in other areas, and I felt kind of all over the place. So I got to know me, and one of the things that I had already been doing is studying my human design long before this, and I really got interested in the centers. So if you're familiar in human design, there's 9 centers, kind of like the chakras, I guess. That's not my world, so I won't talk about those. But the centers, they're energy centers that have different flavors. And whether or not you believe in human design doesn't matter. You can still use it as a tool. It's just about these different flavors, and you can start to use them to your advantage. Because we have all of them. Some of them are greater strengths than others. And some of them help create that inviting tone so somebody wants to come into the store, come into your world, read more of your posts, maybe even raise their hand and say, hey, how do I get into this program that you're talking about? And so I want to share the reports I'm doing. There's besides my own work on it, I met an amazing person, Jamie L. Palmer, and she had been doing all of this research, this work on the centers and using it to lead with your content. So she had already been doing this based off of hundreds of reports that she's done, and I think it's like thousands of people that she's worked with. And she had systematized and articulated what I was experiencing, but yet hadn't had enough of it to be able to figure out how to put it together. So fell in love. It was a no-brainer as soon as I met her. So I am offering, I'm a practitioner for her now. So I'm licensed that I can distribute not only her report, but I can layer on top of my insights on top of it. And that's what I'm offering in the Ideal Client HD report. So I have an intake form. That's how I start. And this is one from somebody that put in their thing, and I'm just going to walk you through some of the things that I did. So first thing I do is I read your content. I read your offers. I read what you put in the intake form, and find out what is the area that you're working on and where are you working the hardest. Where does it feel, wow, that seems like a lot of energy, or where do I feel like, ooh, wow, you just gave me a lot. Like, that's a lot for me to handle. I really tune into my cues, my body, what that impact is. And there's often times where I can tell, like, oh my gosh, this person really, they have it dialed in. They're potent. But when I first come to it, it feels so heavy that I don't know that I'm up for the challenge. So, and I am up for the challenge. But the red frequency is that ease point that creates in there. So this particular one that I'm highlighting on here, there's one thing that I want to share, and that is this right here. Reconnect with your core values and vision. Right there, first thing that they're doing in the program. And you know what? That very much could be the first thing when they're writing up their offer doc, putting that as one of the features. This is what you're going to be doing in it. Totally fine. And it makes sense. Like, you're going to start, because this is what you do. It's probably what you start off with. May not be the first thing you realize that you need to do, but it might be the first thing that you start off with. Like how in some of my one-on-one coaching programs, we might be talking about how to rework your business so that you feel like you can do whatever this task is. But the first thing that I start off somebody with, we're going to do some nervous system work. And the first week is an assignment of, I need you to do this somatic practice every day or 5 days for the next 7 days. And then we're going to talk. Like, I have different things that I start somebody off with, even though that may not be what exactly the program is about. And you probably do too if you have your own programs. So, but back to this example, core values, makes sense, right? You got to have a vision. You got to name those values. And this totally resonates with me in some ways because it's the one thing that I always forget to do because it's not a strength of mine. Like, I have to name my core values all the time because they keep changing. And it's not because I'm wishy-washy, just some of us are like that. Actually, it's more like 70% of us are like that if you go by the human design statistics. But then, imposter syndrome, we all relate to that. Like, we understand what that means, not borrowed strategies, use your natural strengths. Like, this is super appealing to me. And create meaningful impact and, to be this leadership. Like, heck yeah, count me in, right? And this makes total sense to me, but I will tell you, when I go and read the content, sometimes I feel a little overloaded. Like, this person is a force. I don't know if I could spend a lot of time with them because it might be a lot for me to handle. And whether any of that is true or not, doesn't matter. This is just what I'm sensing from some of it. So when I pulled up this person's chart, there's centers that are defined and centers that are undefined. And when they're defined, it means you have them as a strength. We have all of them, but they are a strength. And then for every offer that you're doing, for every lead magnet, for every program that you're doing, you have a different center that you might lead with because it is that red frequency that's for that particular thing. And she has 7 of them. So she has the ajna, she has the throat, she has the identity, the spleen, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus. What she doesn't have, though, is the willpower, the heart, which is about values. And it's what she's leading with. And here's where how I read into it. And I had to, when I was going through this, because the first thing, I embody, then I come and I look at your chart. So I was expecting this to be here on fire. And what I realized as I came to it and realized that this is not one of them that's defined, I was like, wow, this is just a testament to all the work, the inner work that she has done to feel so strong about this. And a lot of her writing comes across as advocacy. And it's inspiring. It's potent, but it's inspiring. And so I had to just take a moment like, wow, this is a center that I don't have defined either. And I have been working on. I am nowhere near to the level that she is. So I can see why she might be leading with it, right? Because it's, she's probably so proud of it and so passionate because she's spent all this time working on it. So I just love it. So I went through and I made some notes. These are actually my notes. I handwrite a lot of my notes. And I went through and I really thought about what she was helping someone do. And when I go back to the very beginning here, some of the things that I really went through and thought about: imposter syndrome, confidence in your authority, your natural strengths versus your borrowed strategies, stepping into what you envisioned. To me, those all say identity. And so that's what I recommended, or throat, identity and throat. Those were all things that I thought about: identity, and throat. So you know what? Let me go back here because I want to make sure that this is really crystal clear. It's identity and throat on top. So it's about your identity. So if you get deeper into her program, there's the core values, right? Which form your identity. And there's the shift in identity here. So the imposter syndrome. That's a lot about how do you see yourself. But a big part of this, because it is all about leadership practice, creating impact. How you do that is through your throat. And I really think that for this person, in the programs that she gave me to use as this is the one that I'm working on, this is the direction that I'm going, she is here to show how to voice yourself. That is leadership and practice right there. How to voice it. And then you dig down to the layers. Now I've got an identity shift. You dig down a little bit further, then you got the values. So that might be what. So if you're I'm looking for to have my voice, to be able to say what I have always thought was true. Then you almost like you have to start at the surface, and that becomes your red frequency. And then deep down, those become those more meaningful ones. That's what you're going to get inside the program. So this is what you're getting inside the program. However, what you want to lead with is that welcoming part. And so the throat center is a wonderful one for that, because the throat is about, let me speak right now. Let me tell you right now. It doesn't have to be carefully crafted, but it's about your storytelling, the words you use, the gestures you use, the actions you take. It's really about making everything come out in the material world. So, and there's a few others that I put in here because of other things that she put in. So I'm just going to go with the red frequency, the main one. So we have the throat center for this. And so I took just a small clip of one of the recent content that she had. And so I want to show you what's different, what can be different, and how to show how this is coming more from the heart or the willpower, from the values point of view. And I'm going to show you how to transform it into more of that throat. So while everyone's been waiting for the cavalry, some of us stopped waiting. We started creating real support networks, building communities that actually work, leading from where we are, not where we wish we were. This question isn't who's fighting back anymore. It's what are you building instead? This is like rally the troops. We're creating a movement. We're doing this. It's advocacy. It's values. Like, here's my hard line in the sand. This is what I believe in. This is what I'm doing. Are you with me or are you not? And there's huge power in that. But it can feel too powerful, especially for those who are already in the same place that maybe already in the program, this might re-up them to stay in the program. But if you're new to the world and you're just learning about the program, this might feel too heavy for you, too much. So I did a rework. This is a real quick one that I ended up working on. So while everyone else waited for the cavalry, some of us got tired of holding our breath. So we moved. We started building what we needed. No applause, no permission, not another how do we fix it. The real question now is, what are you giving your voice to? Because silence won't save us and rage won't rebuild it. We don't need more critics. We need creators. You see how that's, it still has the advocacy in it. It still has the values in it, but it sounds more like someone speaking to you versus someone telling you. So if we go back to this one, this is a little bit more of like standing, in front of the crowd and telling them, this is what you need to do. Are you with me or not? Which there's nothing wrong with being divisive and being crystal clear. But this one gives just a little bit of softness so that someone who is just finding you and says, oh, I haven't really thought about that. I have kind of already noticed that. They start remembering. That's the difference, is when you're looking at this one, you're like, oh, I haven't really asked myself that before. It's a more welcoming way into your world. So you help them to see themselves a little bit clearer. Now, once they're in your world and they're on, say, your email list, you might be switching gears. So this is just to get them coming into your world. So that's how I want you to kind of think about this. It just feels like it's more spoken rather than composed.